Hey everybody, it's Erin Reed from Erin Reed Makes, and welcome back to Card Making Wednesday. Today I'm going to show you one die and many ways to use it. Let's reword that. I'm going to show you about 4 or 5 different ways to use one singular die, and it's a little amazing. Let's get started. So here are some of the fun cards we're going to be making, and guess what? They have a maze theme. So this is my singular die. So you probably have a whole bunch of different dies in your stash, and you think to use them the way that they were originally made. So for this particular tutorial, I'm going to show you how to take a singular die and how to change it up and use it in a few different variations, and maybe different than what it was originally given as in terms of how you're putting it together, shapes, sizes, and all that. So that's a little preview of where we're going to go. All right, now this one's pretty cool. So with this particular die, when you cut it out, and this die has come from, let me get my thingy here. This is from Maker's Movement. Sorry about the glare. Maker's Movement. It's called aMAZEing, and it is a shaker base. So it does have a stamp set that goes with it. I personally don't have that, so I'm just going around and using it. Sometimes you don't always get the stamps and the die sets together. But there are some really cute stamps that go with it, like "You're the most amazing" and "Start and End" and all that kind of fun stuff. So this is the die, and when you cut it out, I just did this in black. I know you can't see it, but just watch. It's pretty cool. This particular die has a positive and a negative. So what I loved about it is I actually ended up getting 2 for 1 out of the deal, right? So you get, hello, Linda. You'll get the positive and you also get the negative that you pull out of there. And I'm going to use them both ways, sometimes together, sometimes separate. You know, we're kind of playing around. So the first way that I did it is I took the negative portion of the card. So that's what this is. So all I did is I took that smaller portion, and the whole die for this particular die measured to be like 4 by 4. So the inside portion measured to be like 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I measured this white piece of paper here, just a little bit smaller, and then glued it on. Found a complimentary sheet of paper on an A2 size card. You know, just cut it down. And so this is just a really easy way to use a fun big die. You know, take it, mat it to the back. This one happens to have a maze theme. Hello, Danielle. And then just placing that on there. Right. And then because I didn't have any stamps that went with it, I decided to just print some out. So I actually went to my printer and I just, printed out sentiments. So this one is "You amaze me," and like really emphasized the maze part. So I just kind of stuck with that. And so you just stick that down at the bottom. Not any super crazy fancy design here. This is just keeping it very simple and just very easy. Then I found these really cute little plastic hearts. I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. These all came from close to my heart, and I do have most of the links down below. I forgot to put this one, so go back and put that on there. But there is like a base close to my heart link to go there, along with like to go find the maze die and stuff like that. So I just pulled a little heart out of there, and I'm going to, if I can find my glue, I had the glue right here. Never fails. I have everything ready. It was right here. Oh, there it is. Found it. Under a sheet of paper. Found it. So we're going to take a little bit of glue. And this is the same glue. I'm actually going to show you how I glued this down. I just figured I wanted to show you a couple of ideas. I didn't want to have you guys seeing me do like gluing for like hours. So, but we're going to make a shaker one, different than the shaker that they suggested. So a little heart right there. And then lastly, because it's a maze, I feel like we need to have like a little thing moving around in the maze. So I'm just getting some little gems here. And these ones are in clear. So I'm going to have right here. Looks like my little gem is going through the maze, like it's kind of going around. So that's using the negative side. The positive side, which is this guy here. So remember, there's 2 parts. So this is this part, and then this is the outside. I think this is what you're supposed to use for the die, but I use them interchangeably. Hi, Janine. Hi, Karen. So how I put this together, and let me just show you this, is I actually have one. It's really simple. I cut this card to be a little bit bigger than the 4 by 4. I did it 4 1/4, which means it's going to be 8 1/2. And I'm going to show you a really quick trick on that. When you guys get, of course, not hand. When you get a full sheet of paper, remember how it's 11 by 8 1/2? And don't worry about your late. It's all good. We just come and have fun. grab a cup of coffee, tea, and enjoy the fun. So we have 11 by 8.5. So if you cut this way by 4 and 4 1/4 and cut this direction, you only have to make one cut. And you can actually get like 3 cards from this that are square cards that are 4 1/4 cards. And it's a nice, small, easy card. So then all I did is I went through and I just added, and I'm not going to go too crazy, but if you ever have a die, or this die in particular, come on, glue. I'm almost at the end. I know what I need to do. I need to get my little glue thing. So that way it has, which I don't have handy. I need to find it, but I don't want to waste time hunting around. So I'm just hitting little dots with my glue here, especially the ones that kind of stick out. And so you just go around and you hit the dots. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time because you guys get the idea. And I've already glued that one, but you get the idea. And then I just stick it down. Pretend I glued all of it and you get the point. So that's just using the positive part. And then you put a cutie little sentiment on there. And this one I'm going to do the one that I glued really well. I have you amaze me. We're going to do this in the upside. Make sure I have it where I want to. Yeah. And then again, from that little heart section, I have that little plastic heart. And just stick a little heart on there, whatever you want. Kind of put that heart right there. And so it makes a square die or a square card, which is fun. But because it's still 4 1/4, it still fits in an A2 size card. So see how they're different, but they're the same. And then change the color. Really kind of cool, right? Okay, so that's 2 different variations of how to use like a singular die, especially if it's got a negative side. You know, just place it as the negative and then just keep it simple. Maybe if it's a square, if it's a circle, you make that the shape of the card. You make the card fit for the shape of the die and it fills the space. Or if you have extra space, you put your sentiment there. So that is one possibility that you can do with it. And if you want to, you could put the little dot again where the little guy is moving around, or you leave it plain. Totally cool. Works either way. All right. The second way is I cut the piece in 2 colors. So here they are in 2 colors. And you got to be careful because they do get caught. So as you can tell, we have 2 separate colors for this. Oh, thank you. Hey, Kelly. I appreciate that. So you have 2 separate colors here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lay this on here and we're going to inlay these together. So you could easily just place this on top of here and you get the color. That's how I got the white, right? But if you pop this inside, something about it just looks good. Now let me show you kind of what I didn't throw away my paper. Maybe you guys can help decide on this. So I loved these 2 colors together. I think these 2 colors look fabulous and I just really, really loved them. And originally I was just going to lay this on here and just be done with it. And it looks fine. And maybe in person, it looks a little bit closer. Like I could just tell, but something about when I took, it's caught, when I took the 2 pieces and I inlaid them, it just looked that much, I don't know, it just looked that much kind of richer because it just fit better. I don't know. What's your opinion? I guess if you're going for speedy and fast, you go with it just laying on top, right? If you're wanting to go with a little more intricate, a little more detailed, you go with embedding them between the 2. So we're going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the outside piece first. And again, take my glue. I debated using my Xyron tape, like my sticker maker. I couldn't, there's a lot of little pieces in here. And I didn't have one that was big enough. I'd have to pull out my big guy. And you know what? So also, the other side of why I didn't choose to do that is once I stuck it down, it was going to be stuck down, which sometimes I love that. But with this, because I wanted to make sure that everything was kind of inlaid into each other and nestled perfectly, I wanted a little wiggle room. So I chose to go with glue. So I'm going to place this on here. There we go. Go down just a tiny bit. There we go. And then now, so now I can move it around, make sure it fits exactly. If I use like a sticker maker or a tape, you know, anything like this, it would run around. See, Maria, I like the embedding too. All right, so now I'm going to take, and I'm just going to run glue, kind of go through the maze as best as possible. And I might go back and like tweak a few spots, but see how I'm just, whoops, go in the maze part, not in on top of it. So oopsie, it dries clear. And then find the matching. So you got to find the reciprocal of this, or the part that inlays, and then just lay that in. And you could leave your card. So this is why I like the glue, because I can really like get in there and lay it in perfectly. And you want a clear drying glue, one that's not going to warp your paper or cause problems. There we go. Okay, so you could leave your card like that, and you could go back to a design like this, and that's the front panel of your card. You could totally do that, and then you get a bunch of different colors. Nothing wrong with that. But we're going to amp it up a little bit. I am now going to take a sheet of paper, and we're going to overlay it. So we've done an inlay. Now we're doing an overlay. See how easy that is? And I cut this to be exactly the width. So you get this really pretty kind of piece going through there, right? Stop the bank so you can't go. It's all good. Think of it like a podcast that you have to go back and watch later, because I say, see that? I'm pointing at something and you have no idea what I'm talking about. But that's all right. Listening works too. So just when you place it down carefully because it fits perfectly. So this works really great if you have any kind of really intricate dies and you're just like, well, what am I going to do with them? You have all these different ideas. We'll use them as a background piece. There's nothing wrong with using them as a background. And then I just took a simple heart, which I have no idea where my heart went. It's lost some. I should show you guys my table one day because I shoved just everything off screen. It's really funny. So you inlay your heart, and then I just, again, printed another fun sentiment. And this one says, have an amazing birthday. And I'll just put that on here. And then I took the same paper right here, and I just made it into a little fishtail on both ends and just pop that there. And if you wanted to actually, oops, I didn't line that up very well. Pretend I didn't just do that. Do you guys rip your papers off when you don't line them up, or do you guys just leave it? Or do you start all over? Some people are like, it warps the paper. I don't know. As long as it looks good to me, I feel like it's good. And then lay that down. And then there we go. So now we have an inlay version of the card. Now, the original version of this particular die was to make it a shaker card. That's like the third way to use this particular die, or any dies. Think of them differently, right? So here's the die again, and remember, it cuts, and it cuts two pieces. Well, the original idea is that you could take some foam like this, and I did do that. You could, and I thought, oh, but you know what? There's probably other tutorials out there for people that have this particular die, and I wanted to show you other ways to use it that didn't include. So you die cut it, you pop all these pieces out, and you use the outside frame. So basically, they get so tangled in each other. And if you're going to use a die and you're going to do a lot of different ways, use decent paper. Don't use really super thin paper. Decent size cardstock. Seriously. Okay. This is why you use decent cardstock, because they get caught into each other. So you're going to use it for this portion of the die. And that's what it shows you on the back of the instructions for this particular one, right? But you don't have to use like that. So I chose not to do that. Instead, I chose to make it look like this. Similar design, but I went around in a different way. So this could be used for a lot of different dies that you might have, and it doesn't have to necessarily be this particular one. So let's go through and show you. All right, so what I did, and you don't have to use fancy shapes like I did, but I found a square die that has scallops, and that's how I got this scalloped edge on here. And so I'm gonna start with a base that is, so here's my scallop piece, right? So, or sorry, there's my maze piece, but any intricate, really fancy die would work wonderfully for this. It doesn't have to be this one. I just use this as an example. There's lots of beautiful kind of intricate dies that this would work wonderful for. And it doesn't have to be a square. It could be a circle. It could be anything you want. So I then cut a sheet of paper, and I wanted it to be white just because I wanted it to pop with my little pieces. And I cut it to be just a little smaller. I cut my square, my scallop square. So I did that. And the nice thing about this is that I also cut it in my foam. So I didn't have to worry about having to like trace the outside with foam. But if you didn't have a fancy die like this, you could always do a square, cut the inside square out, and then just rim this entire paper, your background. Sorry, I forgot to turn my clock off. And there goes my alarm. All these fun alarms going off. You could always rim this with just foam tape going all the way around. Works the same. But for this card, I saved time by having a die that has a square cut out of the middle. It's a frame die. So frame dies are awesome. So we're going to take the sticky off, and this is the foam. And this foam is actually from Maker's Movement. I love it because it's double-sided adhesive foam. And there's 4 pieces in here. They're nice and big. You can use all your regular dies, run them through your regular die cutting machines, and they work awesome. So I'm going to place my foam on here. Try to keep it so it doesn't, like, I don't put it on and pull. I kind of did it a little bit there. I don't know if you guys noticed that. So try to keep it as straight as possible. With it being open in the middle, it's very easy to go and pull it too far. Then I am going to take my shaker bits. These ones are cute. This is a shooting star makers, and these are shaker sprinkles or shooting stars. You get them as a 3-pack. This comes with a Galaxy collection. And I just thought like the green and then like that fun blue color and then the purple, it just, I don't know, something I liked about it. I also debated putting these guys in here because I thought they were cute. And then I also debated going with like just a fun mix. But another thing you could do is you could put little, I tried, they were too big, but I found these little ball bearings, but they were too thick for the size of the foam and they were getting stuck. So I had to pull them out, but that could be another option. You could find like little ball bearings that look really cute too. All right. Then I have my acetate. So this is the front cover of the shaker. This is, and it's blue because it just protects it. So this is clear acetate from Maker's Movement. And it comes with 4 sheets. They're huge. They're 6x8. You get a lot of bang for your buck with that. And they work great for shaker cards. So I just cut out a little 4x4 sheet, same as the back sheet of paper. And all you do is I'm just using a little pokey tool and I leave it on because then I remember, okay, that's the side that still has the blue. I already pulled the blue off. And you just kind of go in the corner there. Pull, 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 like that. Look at that. And then you pull, and you pull, and you got your little thing. And I always do it in the corner because I don't want to damage, and I don't see it in the corner. Now, I've been asked this question a few different times, and I want to just show you. You see it? It's starting to kind of like, see how they're getting like magnetic to what I'm doing? I don't know if you guys can tell. Like, there it is. See? Like, it's sticking, right? So there's a few things you can do. One, they have like these little powder pieces that you can attach, but then I feel like it gets kind of cloudy and powdery. So like it's like anti-static powder. Basically, it's just baby powder for the most part, or talcum powder or things like that. Or you could also use a dryer sheet or just don't worry about it. And this is where I'm in the don't worry about it category for this reason. At first, it gets very kind of sticky in here and it's going to stick and it's going to be like, oh, it doesn't work. And then look, this one had the same thing and they're doing absolutely fine. It's not doing the staticky mess. Once you ran it around, it kind of lost all of its static and it turned into a normal shaker card and it didn't matter anymore. So you just got to be fast and you got to pull off your top foam and just be careful. Make sure you're not sticking to your pieces there. And if you want to add all kinds of other fun stuff in there, by all means, go for it. And then just be kind of quick about it and then go down. Ah, they didn't go crazy on me. And then you got your little shaker. If you're pretty quick about it and don't like hum and haw, then it works pretty good. Then it's just a matter of putting over your overlays. So now it's time to put the maze part on. So I'm just going to go around the corner here. There we go. Get that out of there. And then I'm going to plunk my maze in here. Again, I like using the glue just to make sure that everything is fitting just perfectly. So because this didn't look like a normal maze, and I also wanted to make sure that it had like a good solid frame going around to cover up for the shaker, this is just a fun way of doing it. And so then just come in and add glue going all the way around to all the little edges that are sticking up so it doesn't warp on you. Flip it over. You can, if anything is poking out anywhere, it doesn't look even, now is your chance to fix it. Looks pretty darn good to me. And then stick this down. And just lines up as a scallop. And so it's fun. And I don't think I added glue right here. Oh, no, I did. And there it is. And it gives it a second and then it dries. And then all I did was I just mounted this on a card base. Should have glued that down. Sorry. Put that on the card base. And I'm just going to add adhesive because I don't want to flip that over because I think that some of the glue is still a little wet. And then add that. You could also make this a square card. So if you don't like this shape with the space on the bottom, you could definitely go more back with the square version of the card and keep it as a shaker that's a square. There's nothing wrong with it being in that shape. Totally would work. And then I have the sentiment. I thought this one was a little bit big, so I actually sized it down. I already stuck it down, but then I reprinted it for this card and made it a little bit smaller. So that's the nice thing about printing your own sentiments. I just went into like a Google Doc, found a cool phrase that I liked, and it says, shake up something amazing. And I really made sure that like the phrase went with the card, and it worked really well. And I just went with fun colors, big, bright, bold colors. Why not? So there are the shakers. And see, look, it's like hardly any static. I guess it also depends on where you're living. And if you notice, I alternated the colors that are on here, so you can really kind of have fun with a lot of colors. So the first way that we did it, so one die in a ton of ways. The first way is just using it as a plain old die right there. So we have a positive, and then we also, so actually positive and negative. So that's one way to use, and we used this really cool maze die here. And so using it, square card, regular card, really cute. You can also change up the colors if you want to get that same idea. So you can also change up your colors. Second way that we did it was you can inlay two colors together. So if you end up having a die that's positive and negative, you can change up the inlays and you can embed them. I think it looks better when you embed them versus just laying them over. So it just gives it kind of a different vibe. And so and this should go on a card base, which I have sitting right here. Forgot to do that. I forgot to do that last step. There we go. It's just a card front. So now it's on a card. And then the last way that we did it was making it a shaker, but this is one where I didn't actually use the die to make the shaker. I overlaid the element of the die on top of the square shaker section. So it looks like it's a part of it, but not really. You could also do it the way they originally intended, which is in the, wherever the thing is. I can't find it. Oh no, my dog's got a hold of something. He's coming to the door. Well, I can't find the sheet now. I don't know where it went. I put things onto, oh no. Yep, there it is. Found it. Okay. So you could do it the way they originally intended, which is where you're going to die cut out the die with like the foam, and you create a shaker that you could have a ball that rolls around. That could totally work as well. But I wanted to show you different versions of how to do the cards. So think of your dies in a lot of fun ways. Use positive, use negatives, change up the shapes of what you're using. Think of it as an overlay for a shaker card and just embed them together, lay them together, and it looks super cute. My dog has gotten a hold of a piece of like packaging wrap, like the air bubble. He likes to pop it and break it. And now my son's getting it out. He's homesick today. He's fine. I think we're good. Yeah, a little bit of an upset tummy, a little bit of a fever. So he stayed home today. It's our first at-home sick kid since school has started. We're only on week 3. Bless you, Major. He sneezed. All right. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Amazing. There we go. I had to do something with maze with amazing. It's such a fun to play on the punny words that go with it. So printing out your own sentiments makes it really easy to do so as well. So thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up and a heart. And I will see you guys again. And a couple of announcements. Go over and watch if you're interested in a gift card. I had Dare to be Artsy on my Erin Makes With show last Friday. You have until this Friday to leave a comment. I was streaming live on my YouTube, on my Facebook, Dare to be Artsy YouTube, and Dare to be Artsy Facebook pages. If you leave a comment on any of those channels, she's going to pick any one of those particular channels, the owner, Cindy, who was on the show, and she's going to pick a person that is going to win the prize, which is the gift certificate to her store, Dare to be Artsy. Plus, we give some ideas and show you some of the amazing products they have. This Friday at 6 p.m. Central, I have my big panel show coming back. It's called The Crafter's View. And this time we're talking about design teams. So if you ever considered being on a design team, want to know what the nitty gritty is about design teams, we have people that are design team members, design team coordinators, company owners that have design teams, and we're going to talk all of the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the amazing. Amazing. I had to bring the maze back in there again. So if you're interested in learning about design teams from a panel of amazing people, come watch the show Friday at 6 p.m. Central. And if you don't catch it live, it'll still be on the replay. But if you want to come and ask questions to our panelists, we will be here and we will be ready for you to watch. So all kinds of fun stuff. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I have to find my mouse so I can turn the There it is. Found it. Seriously, my desk is a mess. I need to show you guys one die. How like of stuff. Stay safe and have a lot of fun. Don't forget to just create. Bye, everybody.